What's up guys, Maritime Spook here, and I just have a video for you that I was tagged from EastCoastArcher. I wanted to see my 3 or 4, I guess, most sentimental knives. I said 3 or 4 because I have 4 here, I guess I'm going to show you. No particular order, and a lot of you guys would have seen a lot of these, but a lot of people like to still see them, and you know, some of you guys that are going to watch this are going to already know at least a couple of them, what my sentimental kind of ones are. I don't have ones from family, unfortunately, right now, guys. You know, maybe sometime I can show you some of them if I ever had them, but I'm going to show you a few of them in no particular order that are favorites of mine. But I'm going to get this one out of the way first. This is what I call the Northern White. It has a Canadian Bushman style blade with a Rambler sort of handle, so it's kind of like a hybrid kind of knife, it looks like to me, that Derek did. Absolutely beautiful knife though, guys. Green liners. It's Kane 60 steel, which I've grown to love for steel, and it's got like loveless pins and just beautiful Coke bottle type, not really Coke bottle, but Derek has this sort of slight Coke bottle, I call it, and where it's more squared in the front. I just love it, guys. This is a knife you could sit there with grip for hours and hours and hours, and I'll carry it more in the spring because you can see with the Corian scales, guys, if you drop that in the snow, you're going to have trouble finding it. It's got a bright lanyard, but much better to carry it in the summertime, and I'll be carrying this quite a bit more. Just love this thing, guys. The sheath is got the XXX tooling in the front. It comes with a matching Corian ferrocerium rod there, ferrocerium rod loop. It's a dangler, which are my favorite, summer or winter. It's got matching skull in the back. As Derek knows, I like my skulls, and it's sort of a trademark for me when it comes to a few things. It's got my initials there, tooled in it. So just immaculate sheath and knife, guys. Definitely one of my sentimental favorites that I would never ever want to get rid of. The second one's also a XXX. I named this the Privateer. I was the first one to get like a prototype of the Privateer, and that's what this is. And Derek sent it off and said, just do your normal stuff you do with it, test it, and test the steel. And I'm out walking around on a coastal environment, so even if you don't get the knife wet, the air and stuff can affect things. So that was a good test for him for the steel, and it held up great, guys. Once again, his sort of slight Coke bottle on this one. I said before to somebody just not very long ago, if I take a knife camping, this is usually the one I would want to grab, just because of the size of it. Everything you want to do with it, it's right there in that size knife. That kind of grip that you get in every position. So this would be the one. This is the one I took camping a couple years ago on that Call Craven trip. And that's another thing too, guys. If anybody's showing any interest in wanting to do that, we had a little small talk the other day, Call Craven and I, about having a get together at Spooklandia, which is my parents' property, and that we went camping on. So if you're interested in that and you're not too far away from our areas, then maybe it's something you might want to look into. So maybe we'll find out a little bit of interest, and then we'll go from there. But name this the Privateer after the privateer ships out here in the bay that used to go back and forth and steal each other's cargo and disrupt the war effort and do all kinds of stuff. So I named it the Privateer because there's where I was one of the days I was testing it, there's actually a thing there talking about the privateers and the privateering menace. So just a beautiful knife. It's got a tooled like leaf on there. I've got an Uberluden fire steel there. You can see, guys, the sheath's banged up. This is one I carried quite often, so that's why. Oh, it's got Smuckatelli bead here at the end, and Forrest Walker, he's also got the same bead as this, a little bit different, I think, actually, that I sent him, riding on one of his knives, I believe, a XXX too. Next one, guys, is from a good dude that I met, Mr. Chris Kane. Very cool fella. Learned a lot from his videos and a lot of his no-nonsense kind of teaching. But it's Chris Kane survival knife. They made some knives like this before in England, and Chris came over and had some American maker Battle Horse knives, start making them for him. And just love the shape of it. It's a perfect old style butcher type shaped knife that I've ever seen. I've had a few other ones. Just really love this one though, and it's got that old style butcher type knife shape down. It's got 90-degree spine there, but the rest, and it's very sharp. The rest of it is flat, so you could use it as like a draw knife. And Chris made it that way, and Battle Horse. So Chris designed it that way, and Battle Horse made it that way. It's got the fisheye pins, bead blasted 01 tool steel, full flat grind, and bead blasted micarta scales. Just super grippy. It's got this little hook on the end to hold your hand in, but very, very grippy. One of my favorite knives right there. Harvested chaga with it, even though it's not as thick as some other knives. Didn't have a problem at all. Just immaculate heat treat by Battle Horse. Beautiful sheath. It's got Chris Collier Ferro Fox fire steel, because it's got like a fox head on it, and just great. He should almost be making these and patenting them, guys. They're great fire steel. So the last one is Sentimental, guys. My friend of mine passed away from cancer. I don't want to get into the whole story of the whole thing, just because of personal, it's a personal thing. But basically, a person got their husband to trade me a couple knives for this. The person has since passed away, as I said, but one of my favorites, never gonna leave my collection. It's got the Sami reindeer herders on it, birch handle, brass pommel in the back. Sheath, I gotta get retention wise again, because once they get old and if they don't shrink a bit, they get really bad retention. But I'm never really gonna carry it anyway. But just I may do that and may get somebody to treat it. I'm gonna beeswax it, as I'm going to do with the rest of these knives, and that'll prolong it too as well. So anyway, guys, that was just a few for EastCoastArcher. And by the way, I was just going to show you guys what I would do to get the sheaths, like I just mentioned, is if you ever get a hand on some beeswax, guys, I ball it up like this, and then you can set it in something, heat it up, and then just rub it up and down on your sheath. When you get it hot enough, you can even rub it this way, no problem, and rub it in. But I like to get it hot and rub it in better, and that'll preserve them, and it'll actually harden them up nice, and then they'll save their shape. So anyway, guys, stay safe. Spook signing out, and like I said, I'm not going to tag anybody yet, but maybe I will after.